Kevin Cast.
Okay. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Okay. Anybody have any comments about last week's or last month's minutes? And if not, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Jane second. Go ahead.
Okay. Mary Ann moved and Jane seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. Staff recognition.
And Jan pointed out the one I sent out was incorrect. Actually, we do have a staff anniversary. Let me get my screen share up.
I thought I was caught up.
Tina Manning at Marblehead has 1 year this month.
All right then. Financials.
Everything's going along just fine. We're well below our approved budget. No major expenses this month. Nothing major came in terms of revenue. PLF is holding pretty steady compared to what the original forecast was, even way back in January, December, whatever it was, they came out with it. So really nothing exciting to report on the financials, which is probably a good thing, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, it is. So let the money pile up.
Exactly.
Okay, then with that being said, is there a motion to accept the financial report?
I move to approve the financial report. This is Margie.
I'll second. Kevin Francis.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Donations to the library? We had one.
There was one donation in November. One of our staff members' mother passed away, so the staff collected some money to make a donation in memory of her.
Okay. All right. That was nice. And director's report.
All right. So the big thing that we've had going on lately is a problem with the hold it locker systems and the fact that the manufacturer is having trouble with production because they're having issues getting raw materials. They're having trouble sending out their team to install the lockers because of various travel restrictions. I did, plead with them to get Erie Island's locker delivered this month because, the ferry is most likely to continue to run this month and January is even more in question. So they have guaranteed that Erie Island's locker will be delivered sometime this month. However, it won't be installed. None of them will be installed until January. The problem this presents is that the federal funds are supposed to be spent by December 30th. There is a ability to spend into January if we have the documentation in place to prove that they were originally supposed to be delivered by the deadline and the manufacturer is having issues, beyond our control that are caused by COVID. So we do have that documentation in place, so we should be okay to spend until January. Our fears are what happens when they can't meet the January deadlines. And so I did reach out to Marcy Kepter's office and our two senators, to let them know of the situation and ask if they could maybe work on extending that deadline since it's a federal thing and the state has no control over the deadline. I did hear back from Marcy Kepter's office and I was told that she will be pursuing extending the deadline. And they did ask if there was anything that her office could do in the meantime. So that was encouraging. Hopefully we don't need that, but I know we're not the only library in that boat.
Does Marcy have a drill and some fasteners?
She might.
Probably does. I wouldn't put it past her.
But the electric is installed, the internet's installed. Now we're just waiting to actually receive the product and have it up and running. When we do receive it, the delivery truck will not make an inside delivery, and they're going to be on pallets. We don't have a pallet jack or the manpower to move these things inside, so they're going to sit outside where they're supposed to go until they can come and install them. It's not ideal, but it's one of those 2020 kind of roll with it. It is what it is things. Let's see, other things going on.
Nothing's going easy with that project.
No,
Wow.
nothing's easy, I guess, about money.
Yeah.
You think, oh yeah, $75,000. Yes, great, but lots of hoops to spend it. We had a Dolly Parton Imagination Library Steering Committee meeting. At that time, there were 471 children registered in Ottawa County. There was an update this week, and I think it's now up to 499. Fundraising for year 2 has begun with a goal to raise $12,000 by the end of August. Susan reported a nice story about a patron who didn't want all of her holds to show up at once. Susan taught her about suspending holds, and she was really excited and wanted to know if that was something that her tax money bought her with the levy. And Susan told her yes, and she was, I guess, pretty happy. Youth Services has been working on craft kits to take home, activities to take home, some online story times. There's a little screenshot from Terry at the end of her story time, telling kids how to make the craft kit that we had that they could pick up at the library. Kristen did an advent calendar, make it at home thing video that was out, and that's Terry and Kristen demonstrating how to make that. In adult services, Laura came up with the idea to do her own binge bundles, and so the idea is that she themed together certain movies and paired it with a bag of popcorn. And so like in the picture, it's Marvel movies, Hallmark movies, DC comics, and you take the whole package, check it out, eat your popcorn, and binge for hours of movie watching. And Midwest Tape has started similar premise to that, where it's all boxed into one thing, and we have started purchasing a few of those to see how those will circulate. Marblehead did some craft activities with the little bead corn and pumpkin that's pictured. They also made gratitude journals for adults. Probably some kids did that as well. And a really fun idea. We can't have an interactive movie here, so they made an interactive movie take-home kit with Frozen 2, and so it had a copy of the movie and then all of the ingredients, or whatever you wish to call it, to have the interactive movie at home. Another exciting thing from Marblehead is that Erin was honored by Danbury Local Schools for the Leadership Core Value Representative, and they nominated her for that because of her involvement with the school district and her work at the library. So that's pretty exciting and a big honor for her. Erie Islands is continuing with their Words and Wine on Zoom. Unfortunately, it did have to be canceled this month due to a family death. They're working on some take and make kits. They had one for teens. It's a paracord bracelet. So it's weaving parachute cord. And then they have their recorded story times, and Sue Duff continues with her kitchen chemistry. People are continuing to do training while they have their at-home hours, at least full-time staff. Part-time staff don't have at-home hours and probably don't have any off-desk time to do much training right now. Statistics remain the same as they have all year. Everything's down except for digital. circulation. So I don't know what to do other than continue to remain open and hope people come in and check things out. But even when we are here, foot traffic is still down. But I guess that's to be expected. List of programs, and they're kind of cobbled together numbers. It's kind of hard to have attendance numbers from Facebook events, but I know the state report's going to have 2 separate reportings for that, so we can report the number of views on some of these Facebook things, and more of our traditional type reporting of the take and makes and activities on Zoom where we actually have a set audience. And a list of upcoming things for December, some of which have already happened. And then there was a little tidbit in Fremont News Messenger about some of our activities. And another thing to mention, it's not in my report, Marblehead, as you know, was closed. Is that this week? Yes, Tuesday. Yes. And unfortunately, the individual who had a potentially positive individual in their household has now a confirmed positive person in their household, so they are quarantined for 14 days. That means that we're left with that one person who can still work on that team. So what we have done next week, she'll be out of quarantine on Friday, pending nobody else in the household gets sick, because if somebody else gets sick, it resets the 14 days. But provided no one else gets sick, we've swapped the 2 teams, so the library will be open Monday, Tuesday. Thursday, they'll still be closed because that's the last day of quarantine. Then that team can work on Friday. Normally they work Monday, Tuesday. So Marblehead will be closed next Thursday as well. Any questions?
I was thinking about your foot traffic and wondering if the town even knows that you're open.
I mean, we put an ad in the newspaper. It was on the sign on Perry Street. Been on talk of Port Clinton. I don't know.
I think people are being cautious.
Yeah, I think they're just not doing their normal day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. Anybody else got comment on the report? Committee reports, building and grounds, is there anything going on there? Policy and personnel.
Policy and Personnel Committee, we met, Jane and I and President Hatton met with both Lindsay and Jan last week to discuss their evaluations and do the agreement, the signatures, etc. So that's all. Excuse me.
Okay. Wage and finance.
Nothing.
And then there's an audit committee too. Did you know that? Anyway, the committees mostly haven't been meeting. This COVID thing is not motivating me to push them along. We'll pick that up when we're able to get face to face and there's reason to meet. The items for discussion. First item listed is board officers for 2021. Is there anybody in the audience that's anxious to take this job of mine?
No, sir.
Well, I was going to make a suggestion that we just all sit still with the positions we have for next year.
I think we should elect Kevin Cast.
Yeah.
Yes.
We could do that. We could put that in the minutes and see how well that goes over.
Yep, when you don't show up, you become president.
I did get a message from Kevin and he's at a funeral.
Oh. I guess that's a good excuse. Anyway, what do you think of everybody just sitting still for another year and get over this COVID issue and get back to normal for 2021?
Yeah, I think I'm fine with that, Larry.
I don't know, this vice president gig is really wearing me thin.
Yeah,
I had to run a meeting. Jeez.
yeah, you look like you're losing weight over it.
Hey.
You all are doing a great job.
Wasting away, I'll tell you.
All right, I'll take all that as a yes. So whoever's taking care of the minutes, just put us all down for the same job next year.
Okay,
And board signatures on the 2020 board documents, what is that?
well, each month when we have our in-person meetings, you each sign the bank reconciliation, and Larry and Margie sign the minutes. And of course, nobody's been able to do that the entire year. So I would like if we could ask board members to come in and sign the documents here in my office, just so I can get everything, you know, I can file everything now because we've got it all signed.
Yes.
What I was suggesting that we do, since I didn't want the document sitting in the mailboxes, is I will send you guys an email with the days that I'm going to be here for the next few weeks. And this way you'll know what days I'm in, and you can pop in and make the signatures. That would be great.
Okay, good idea.
Yeah.
And
Sounds good.
and our goal should be to do that during the month of December.
I would like that if we could.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Then what about story walk?
So the story walk topic is something that I'm considering pursuing here in Port Clinton. Jan had attended a marketing meeting, I think last week, and a couple of libraries had commented how well the story walk worked during shutdown for their summer reading. They were able to put activities at it and kind of have a central place to send people to do some activities that were out of the norm because of the whole COVID situation. I know we had kind of kicked around story walk with different entities in town, but my thought was we have that space in back of the library with nothing but grass on it. And I wanted to get everybody's opinions on utilizing the space behind the library to put in a story walk and landscaping it, making a little path for the story walk itself, and actually utilizing that land rather than just having grass on it.
Do you have a sense of the cost of a rough idea of what it would cost to do this?
I think the landscaping would be probably the biggest cost. I don't have an idea because I didn't want to run with anything until I know whether the board supports using that space.
What kind of a path are you thinking?
Probably more of like a crushed gravel.
Yeah. That would.
That'll probably be kind of pricey to have that done.
I vote that for whatever we do it as for handicap accessible.
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea to utilize that space. I think it's a great plan.
Do you have somebody in mind to draw up a plan?
No, this is like something that just has happened over the last week.
Okay.
And before we put too much time into it, I wanted to get a pulse on everyone's feelings.
I like the idea very much. I would like to see a plan though before we approve anything.
Yeah, I'm not looking for approval on anything other than maybe some direction on if we should go
Yes.
that route or not.
Yep.
No, I
Sounds great, Lindsay.
As far as funding, we did receive that $10,000 donation. I think that could go a long way with getting the story walk out there. And then I think the friends would also be pretty responsive to helping us with that.
I think that sounds good.
I do too.
Yep.
All right, I will start pursuing
Good.
some plans.
Great.
Yeah, I think you'll have a lot of fun trying to, put it all together as building a plan. Okay.
Going along with handicap, you could also make it tactile in some way for the visually impaired also.
I watched the Dolly Parton documentary last night, and she does Braille books too.
Yeah.
So it was
Oh,
an
wow.
amazing show last night on Facebook.
I caught like the last 30 seconds. I was on the phone with my niece for her birthday. I was like, oh no, I missed it, but it's my niece. It's worth it.
Yeah, and you can watch it over. It's still on there.
Yeah, I know how to Braille if we need any Braille done.
Do you
Okay.
really? You can read Braille? Good for you.
Yeah. I have to read it with my eyes. I can't, my fingers aren't good enough to do it by touch.
It would have to be something weatherproof, but
Yeah, they do. That's what you Braille on is it's a form of plastic.
all right, I will keep that in mind.
Sounds like Mary Ann's a good one to talk to about this.
Is Braille just letters, Marianne?
No, they're contractions and whole words, letters. Yeah, it's a whole code.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, okay. We do need to go into executive session. Is there anything else under normal discussion?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, I asked that we go into executive session, and the two of you that have to leave, we'll give you a call. Don't go too far.
Well, we need a motion and a second,
On what?
and then a roll call about.
Oh,
going
for
into
executive session. All right.
Jane so moves to go into executive
seconds.
session.
Wait a minute. We're going to take action afterwards.
We might, yes.
So that means that we need somebody, I don't know about Jan and, somebody's got to have finished the minutes up for Jan. She's just going to leave.
Look, she'll be coming back.
Text and we'll come back.
Okay.
I'll text Lindsay as soon as we're done. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Roll call. Hatton,
Here, yes.
Widmer,
Yes.
Vanderberg,
Yes.
Francis,
Yes.
Held,
Yes.
and Lobner.
Yes.
All right.
Let me make it not live.
I'm going to hit leave.